Hello everyone, I'm Ashenova, and welcome to the second episode of the Oxygen Not Included series. Without too much further ado, we're going to get right back into it. Hope you enjoy, and if you like the video, please subscribe. Welcome back to the next episode of Oxygen Not Included. This is going to be episode 2. We had a few problems we're going to have to fix this episode. Firstly, I've already fixed it, was the game audio. Upon reading the footage, or looking through the footage, the first episode's audio was kind of, hit or miss. So I tried to up the audio, so hopefully it's a bit more enjoyable. The other things we're going to have to fix is the water issues. We're going to be fighting water today mostly, and we're going to have to fix the algae problem because we're going to run out of oxygen if we don't. So we're going to get right back into it. Okay, this is where we left off on cycle 7. We're going to have to fix the water down here. I want to essentially drain all these waters into one massive basin. What tends to be a case is that we want to kind of clear out an area for the basin before we go ahead and start draining all the water into it. That way it doesn't flood out the place, and that way they're not working underwater, because we don't want them to work underwater. So we're going to go ahead and start by digging out some area. And that will keep them busy for a bit. I'm not going to have them research just yet, and that's mainly due to I want them to get some more work done before they get into the research. I actually want to see what I want the shape of the basin to be before this gets too far. Get rid of that. See what shape I want the basin. I'm thinking about, it's annoying where you want to put your basin. I want to keep the width kind of consistent with this. We might have to make it a bit taller. And this is going to be the general shape of the basin. It should hold all of this water. I didn't do the math or count it out, but I mean, just by looking at it, it should work. We'll go off of that basis. We'll use the good old eyeball test. And this is all to keep them busy for a bit. I don't expect to see this done for a while. Thankfully, we do have the oxygen diffuser giving them oxygen while they work down here, so that won't be too big of a concern, at least at the moment. They're doing a good job. I'm proud of them. Look at them go. Whenever your duplicates dig up, sometimes sand will fall and drop and bury stuff. They've got all the way up here, and there was some sand up here with our digging, and some fell down and buried some stuff. So sometimes if you see some new blocks come up, it's most likely sand that's fallen down. And now we're at the beginning of cycle 8. We didn't get too much different done. They finished digging up here. Someone's starving for whatever reason. We've got calories. We actually went up calories considerably. I think that's from some of the muck group that we found around. We're getting the basin going. Hopefully my war against this water basin won't last more than maybe 10 cycles. I really hope. We're not going to look at these tutorials because we're smart. We have no research selected. That's purposeful. We want to get some work done. And yeah, okay. Everything's going good. Everything's going dandy. And while I have them digging up here, I might as well grab this surplus of algae. We're going to need it down the road. One thing you want to watch out for builds like this is that if you're not watching your duplicates, they can sometimes get stuck while they're building something. And it's a really good idea to build ladders around if you're building a large room like this, or a reservoir like I'm doing here. It tends to be a pretty good idea, because if they get stuck and they suffocate, you're not going to be happy. Because you see down here, we've got some carbon dioxide. If they weren't ladders here, and let's say someone got stuck on this block, it wouldn't be long for that carbon dioxide to come up and choke them out, and then we would not be really happy. While they're almost done this right here, I'm going to start adding some plumbing. I'm going to need a water pump. I like to have it on the edge right here. And we're also going to get the pipe going up to eventually wherever we'll put the bathrooms. We're also going to need to run power to this. So I like to run the power before I go ahead and dump all the water in here. Now at the beginning of cycle 9, we have all this delicious algae all cut up and ready for us to use. We do have this almost done. Maybe a couple more cycles before I go ahead and drain all the water into here. We can look a bit more down into this slime mold area. Ooh, you see this? Neutronium? It means there's a geyser here. Now, there's a trick you can use to see what these geysers are. You click priority, and then you click this emergency button. You see how it says 5 right now. If you click this emergency button and then go over it, it will pop over here, and you can click it. Like if I do this, you'll see it pop over here. If you click that yellow alert, you'll know what geyser this is. But I'm not going to be doing that, so we don't know what this is. I did think I saw something up here, and I did. We do have a natural gas geyser, so we might be tapping into this for some power in the future. There's not too much between us and it. I don't want to dig into the slime too much because it will turn this fluid oxygen into slime lung fluid oxygen with slime lung germs. So we're going to try to bypass the germs. We might come up from underneath. That tends to be a little bit tricky with how we want to do water locks. We could also come in from this direction, but I don't think that's advisable. I think we come in from this side and we try to get that. But that's a while away. And now we got another duplicate. Or we don't know what it is. So let's go with the printing pod and see what we got. Now looking over these options, I don't think I like Ren. I mean, he doesn't have any bad traits, but interior decorator is a little bit more annoying than helpful. I mean, we could use an artist. He has +3 on piloting, but I don't think he's going to be piloting anytime soon. Nyctaleptic's never fun to have. I mean, having a night to sleep, that's just 10 watts a night for this duplicate to just sleep. He is innately stylish, so he does have higher decor bonus. Machinery and agriculture aren't inherently bad. I think we either go Ren, or in a normal playthrough, you'd probably pick these. I might not do any of these care packages. They tend to make the game not as challenging. So I'm going to play a bit more of a challenging route. We're going to pick Ren. I'm sold on him. Can't do a doctor. Reduced bathroom speed's fine. That doesn't end up bothering me too much. Interior decorator, he might be our artist. He's got increased husbandry, so he could be an artist and a critter rancher down the line. I do like having more than one critter rancher, because I do a lot with critters down the line. Piloting, we might not see that come into play. Construction, we will see that come into play. So, okay, Ren, he's an artist. What's a good art? Atomic particle. You know, we'll make him eccentric. He'll be Belenium. I hope that's how you spell Belenium. If it's not, we'll change it next episode. Welcome, Belenium. Happy birthday. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and give Belenium another bed. I'm all for getting as many duplicates as you can early game, because the faster we get them to work, the higher their traits will get up. And the trait you really want to get up really fast, in my opinion, would be athletics, because if they have high athletics, they move fast. When they move fast, when you tell them to do something, they'll just go and do it. We look like we're catching up on the mealwood here, so let me go ahead, copy settings. We don't want to start running out of food as we're getting more duplicates. So we're at 15,000 calories right now. We have about 6 duplicates, so that's 6,000 calories per cycle. So this is about 3 cycles worth of food if they're eating it like as they should be. So we're going to probably have to get this farm a bit bigger. And we're going to expand the farm like this for now. I might add another farm up here. We could do bristle blossoms. It's a little early, but I think it's worth doing it. We're going to go ahead and get a bristle blossom farm up here. The sand's a little annoying right here because it's going to fall down, but it's fine. We're going to do some math real quick because I want to get ready and see if I can get this nature preserve to work. So yeah, it looks like we're going to need 2 5-high rooms above this. I'm all for making this room right here 5-high for the bristle blossoms because the lights will travel a bit farther. So we might make this row of rooms 5-high. I'm fine with that. And what we'll do to make this easier to dig is we'll do this. Actually, what we'll do is instead of making them farm tiles, we're going to go ahead and research the hydrophytic tiles. Here we go. And we'll get them going. They're already starting to work on this farm. Uh-oh. I don't want them getting squished in the head. So, Belenium, move over here. And Carbon, Move over here as well. There we go. That was a little close. That was a little bit close. But now we can go ahead, copy settings, and as soon as we get enough mealwood seeds, there might be one right here actually. As soon as we get enough mealwood seeds, we can get going into making this. We have finished the water basin right here. And what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to drain the rest of the water into the basin. So we're just going to take a dig out right here, and a dig out about right here. We'll do this. And all this water should flow. Here goes Sodium, getting ready to drop all that water in. Doing a wonderful job. And now all this water should fill up this basin. And right in time, because we're right on cycle 10. So cycle 10, we're getting some more food set up over here. This is going to be a bigger farm. We have the water basin now filling up with all this water. We're going to get all this room reclaimed. Before we get too much further, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I add a few of these in here. I always like to add like several of them because as the water moves up and down, you want to make sure that you guys can always access the water. And I really hope this is a big enough basin to hold all this water. I really hope. In case it's not, I can go ahead and have them block that off. And I think a bit of the reason it might not be is because we don't have this dug out. So maybe we can make this a higher priority. And hopefully we don't drown ourselves. But it should be fine. It looks like it's fine. Okay, a little bit of an overreaction. It looks like we will not need those two blocks right here. All the water is mainly poured out of here. We can go ahead and get rid of this because we don't really need it anymore. I'm still going to have to give them a way to get back to the bathroom. So as soon as I deconstruct this, I'm going to put a couple blocks right here. Or actually probably a ladder system because this is where the other ladder system is going to go. And we're just going to do a bit some cleaning up. We'll let some of the extra water that has not flowed yet go all the way down. And then we're going to go ahead and mop up what's left. Okay, like I said, I was supposed to make sure they found a way back and forth, but I forgot. And hopefully Belenium will feel a bit better when they're not sleeping next to the toilets. Sorry, Belenium. I'm going to make this a bit higher priority because they actually cannot do any of this research from the supercomputer without some water. So we're going to make sure that they do this. And that sand just fell down and ruined my day. And here comes Copper filling the supercomputer with some water, so now it's ready to go for Hydrogen to start go ahead and researching it. They're all giving it some water. We're increasing the locomotion around the colony a good amount by adding these like ladder systems throughout. So I'm happy about that. We're getting, it looks like they're able to move a bit more freely, which is what we want. Now we're in cycle 11. No one's stuck at the toilets. The supercomputer is running. The water basin is built. We have the next part of the farm almost ready to go. And we have a good amount of calories. We are having a good amount of stress. I think most of that's coming from Belenium and Sodium not getting a good night's sleep because they were stuck. Well, I think Belenium was the one stuck at the toilets. I think there was someone else there to help him. I forget who it was, but I know it wasn't Sodium. Sodium was probably sad because they had to work underwater, which, you know, she'll get over herself. I can understand sleeping next to the toilets and not being happy, but Sodium, Belenium has had it a lot worse, and he just got here. We're not going to drop this water basin over here into our main basin, mainly because I don't think it would fit it. We can go ahead and do some math to figure out how much higher or lower we can do this. So let me figure that out real quick. Now, according to my math, we can probably go up to right here, which is about 3 more blocks high. And I'm not sure if it would catch all the water. It would catch a good amount of it, but not all of it. At least I don't think it will. Let me double check. Yeah, it looks like we can go 3 higher and make sure we have 4 high rooms all the way out. So I'm going to make this go 1, 2, 3. And let's not forget to make the wiring go all the way up and the plumbing go all the way out. If we add more water to this basin, this oxygen diffuser is going to get flooded out. So we're going to go ahead and move it. We won't move it too far, probably about right here for right now. we're having insufficient oxygen generation. I think that's just because we didn't have these running. Just because the power was running off while we were building these blocks. So see, it's gone now. So we should be good. And hydrogen just finished their research. So what we're going to go ahead and do, go to food, and we're going to get the hydrophytic water tiles. I love using these for Bristle Blossom farms. And it makes it very low maintenance, and it also, in my opinion, it just gets rid of a lot of workload from the duplicates. So I think it's very much worth it. Before we go ahead and get rid of this, I think we're going to go ahead and add the lights over here. So if we go to furniture, if you remember the first time I said I think it's a good idea to get lights, and if you have a light bulb out, I'll just put a, it's incredibly hard to see, especially with these shine bugs, but we'll see the light source, the light bulb itself gets light, and then it goes 1 over, 1 over, 1 over, 1 over. So what we're going to do is we're going to count. So it's going to go 1 over, 1 over, 1 over, 1 over. So that's where a light bulb should be. So we do need a light bulb about right here. But for the sake of symmetry, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks in. So right above here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to make it symmetrical. I mean, it doesn't have to be this way. You can make your farm a lot longer. One thing I am worried about is I'm pretty sure this biome's a little bit warm, and I don't want to put my Bristle Blossoms here. Speaking of using the temperature overlay, look who I found up here. There's another geyser. So we're going to have to figure out what this is too. So we have a lot of geysers really close to our starting biome, which can be good, can be bad. They do make a lot of heat most of the time, so we're going to have to figure out whether we're doing good or we're doing really bad from that. And also a good reminder to set up your wiring for your lights. This is an easy thing to forget. And we've got a lot of work cut out for them. We're going to give them a little bit more work. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this main ladder in the center right here. And we're going to set up some rooms in the center. We could put bathrooms and mess halls here. This might be what we do. I like having bathrooms somewhat close to the main water system. So we might end up doing bathrooms right here. And how do we get more sand in our... Guys. Alright, back at cycle 12. They got a good amount of stuff done. They're clearing this out. It's starting to look a bit more like a base now. They got a good amount of these Bristle Blossoms done. I'm going to go ahead and probably start add some plumbing to these. You can either plumb it straight across. I might not do that. I like to separate out a little bit, but I don't know actually. I'll separate it out. And the reason I'm going to separate out like this is in case we're making too much food or too little food, I can try to shut these off a little bit. And here we go. This is what's going to end up looking like. We might have to build some ladders across here so they can actually reach all of it. Now, something like this isn't purely advisable to do for most colonies, mainly because when you're running plumbing later in the game, you want to be able to run it around certain rooms, and this might end up being a wall for me later. Watch, it's going to bite me in the butt, and we're going to do like a little flashback to this. This couldn't possibly be a bad idea, and I'll say that, and I'll feel really stupid. Future me, there's no way this could ever be a problem, but this is going to probably bite me in the butt when I'm running water in the future, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And speak of why we're growing more food, a new duplicate. The first thing that might grab your eye is that Ellie over here is a freaking genius. They just don't know how to breathe. They're a genius and they just can't breathe. The other skills aren't bad. The double oxygen consumption rate is not worth the 16 science. I mean, they get researching done really quick, but they also consume all the oxygen, so they die really quick. The other two, Exosuit Training 3 is an okay skill. Flatulence, I will not deal with. I don't want to deal with a duplicate mixing gases with my normal gases all the time. It's not worth it. Plus 8 piloting sounds nice. Uncultured's good, Mohan's good, Small Bladder isn't bad. The piloting isn't helping us right now, but like I said before, it's probably better to get early duplicates than later duplicates, just because it helps increase their athletics. So I might just go ahead and go with Bonnie over here. Not super useful, so we might just name it inert gas, like Neon. So welcome to the crew, Neon. Our second noble gas. You'll get along with helium just fine. Or you won't, because noble gases will not react with one another at all. But happy birthday! I might as well start with getting the ladders up here as well, because we're getting ready to drain all of this. I haven't connected the water pump yet to any of the water systems, because this is going to end up probably taking more electricity than we're producing right now. I could do a coal generator, just as a temporary thing. Do I have a carbon skimmer? That's what we'll do. We'll research, and we need to research a few things. We're a little late on some things. We want to get this done before when we're ready to get the power spine, but we are not there yet. What we want to research is the water sieve, so that when they use the bathrooms, we can just pump that into a water sieve, and we can get that water right back. Using the aquatic reservoirs are also pretty good. I want to end up using this later, especially when we're filtering out water. Not so important right now, but something to think about. And the other thing we need to do is decontamination. The deodorizer and carbon skimmer. This is going to be really useful for pumping up our power grid. So we already have unlocked the coal generator and the smart battery. So what we're going to do is start with the carbon skimmer, get the carbon skimmer to up our power cycling, and then after we up our power cycling, go ahead and research the water sleeve. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little power plant, probably down here. I like to make them a bit lower because this is going to be a CO2 producing plant. There's a lot of coal over here too, so it's conveniently close to a lot of the resource that we'll need to do it. Let's go ahead and see how much coal we have. 5.3 tons, that's enough to get started. So we're probably going to build a power plant right here. It won't be a permanent power plant, we'll just use it temporarily. A little bit of issue that I have is that the height of this water basin is not a multiple of 5. What we might have to end up doing way later is adding some blocks right here and then breaking it, making it a little bit deeper. That's more of my perfectionist kicking in, because that way we can make the rooms over here probably about 5 high, and that's fine for over here, making these rooms 5 high. One thing I want to do with power rooms, especially if you're using a coal generator, is kind of put the door, instead of at the bottom of the room, at the top of the room. And that's so the CO2 kind of sits at the bottom here, and it doesn't end up being an issue. We're going to go ahead and hook up a power from coal generator. I like putting my coal generator close to the door so that they don't have to walk in too far to go ahead and see the generator and get fill it with coal. We'll put our smart battery right next to it. And what we're also going to do is go to base and put a little storage box in here that we can fill with coal. That way they're not going all around the base collecting all the coal all the time. Whenever they need to fill this thing, they just come right here, grab it, fill it, and leave. I'm going to actually, I have this blueprint to make a nice blue storage bin, so we're probably going to use a blue one. That way we can see it, we know what it's doing. This room doesn't need to be any bigger, but we will leave space to expand the room just in case. I'm realizing right now that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This room isn't really 5 high. I need to make it 1 lower so that this is here. So give me a second while I rework all of this. There we go. I've made it all 1 lower is all I did. And the one other thing you want to do with these systems is hook up both power and automation. So automation, if you go to this thing, automation wire, you need to hook this up to a smart battery. That way, after everything is fully powered, this isn't just wasting coal and producing CO2 out of nowhere. The one other thing we'll have to add to this room when it comes to time is the carbon skimmer, and that's probably going to go about right here if not over here. We could expand this room a little bit further if we want to make a bigger power plant, but we might not be at this point. I don't like having my power plants close enough to my water source because that makes a lot of heat, and heating up your water tends not to be a really good idea. But we'll go ahead and put it right here for right now, just because we want the power source somewhat close. And I forgot to put my door one lower. There we go. What I also like to do, whenever I have a room, I like to connect these ladders. That way they're not running all around to try to go all the way up to this ladder, come across, and all the way down. It ends up saving enough time that it's worth it. Now, since we are doing a lot with water this episode, I think before this episode ends, I'm actually going to drop all this water down into here. So hopefully that goes well. Dig up that last block, and we're going to go ahead and make this a higher priority. Tell them, hey, let's go ahead and drain this water. And it shouldn't splash into my base, hopefully. And at the beginning of cycle 13, we're getting ready to drain all the rest of this water that we have up here. Hopefully it won't drown out my basin. I don't think it will. I think we have made the right amount of adjustments to make sure it doesn't do that. We have now 7 duplicates to our colony instead of, we had what, 5 starting out this session. So we've got 2 more family friends. We have this farm about ready to go. As soon as we get power set up, we're going to go ahead and get a bristle blossom farm going. We have 23,000 calories, so that's no longer too much of an issue, even though it said starvation, just to try to prove me wrong. We have our water system going. I think we could drain the rest of this water in here. And I think I want some of this water right here for reasons that we'll reveal later. But we're going to keep that there, and the rest of this we're going to try to drain into here because I think it will fit it, gosh darn it. And look at them go. They're just cleaning off the top of this, so this water here can flow all the way across and fall into the water basin. And the rest of this water is going to drip slowly into the main basin, and thankfully we've got enough space for everything. They finished researching the carbon skimmer just now, and like we said before, we're going to have them do the water sieve so that we can probably do the bathrooms by next episode. We're going to go ahead and attach the water sieve. I think it's in oxygen. Yes, it is. We're going to put it right here, set up with power, and set up its plumbing. That's the input for the white. And the output, we're going to put straight up. Actually, we might just go straight across with this. That way the output can come up here. And this is going to output polluted water, so we're going to need the water sieve. We could put the water sieve right here. So, we could have the bathrooms, mess hall, water sieve. I see the vision. We're just going to keep it right there for right now. We're going to space this ladder right here for future reference. You don't know what this is going to do, but having these little spaces right here are going to help us down the line. We're going to get ready to clean up this room. We can get rid of the rest of the ladders here. And we've made it all the way to cycle 14. I think I've officially tamed the ocean over here. I'm going to have them mop the rest of this up and use the rest of this water. I've got an immaculate water basin. We're getting ready to set up a power grid, which I'm happy about. We're going to get some CO2 cleaning systems in here. And we're doing pretty good. We're going to work on a little bit of the farming next episode, get the bristle blossoms up once we get the power going. And I think we're going to get the toilets going and the mess hall going. So looking pretty positive for the new colony. We're going to probably get some more duplicates next episode. I do like running a lot of duplicates early on. We've ended up managing their stress pretty good and the calories pretty good. So I think we're moving at a pretty solid pace. I like to have bathrooms probably a little earlier than this, but I think due to the size of the water basin I built, I think the work kind of shows for itself. Why is Sodium going like underwater to get this water? We have pitcher pumps up here. You could just come up here. It's okay. You'll learn, Sodium. It's okay. But yeah, this is going to probably be it for episode 2. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.